What is going on, Razzball Nation? Welcome to Razzball Radio. It is Monday, May 12th, and as usual, I guess it's not usual because we've only got 1 week under our belt, but without further ado, here is Mr. Gray Albright. Morning, Gray. How are you?
Good.
Did you have an extra shot of caffeine this morning or what?
No, I think it was holding back my eyes for 4 days straight. I think finally paid off.
I think you created some more wrinkles, brother. Yeah, there you go. How was your weekend, man? What'd you get up to?
It was good. I went to see Draft Day.
Oh, how was it?
It was pretty good. It was actually more inside baseball than I imagined it would be. Barring the fact that it's football, not baseball, but you know what I mean.
I'm shocked you went to a football movie.
Yeah, no, it was inside baseball as in the idiom, not as in the actual sport. It was a lot more than I expected, at least. I liked it. I thought it was kind of implausible, and I don't really even know the ins and outs of the football draft, but it seemed implausible, and not just because Kevin Costner was supposedly dating Jennifer Gardner. Did you see it?
No, I haven't seen it yet, but we'll get to baseball.
It was good, though. It was entertaining. It reminded me of an 80s movie.
Okay, fair enough. Like what, 16 Candles? How 80s are we talking here?
No, 80s as in like a movie that is really it's kind of mainstream, but not more relying on the actors, not really heavy in any way. Like it was kind of like it was pretty light. It was it reminded me of like a like a Bull Durham kind of or a League of Their Own, where it was a sports movie but not like not necessarily that smart.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, I got to go out and see it, and we'll switch to baseball here before someone tries to shoot me. But
but what I meant by the inside baseball was it was really about the mechanisms of the draft, which I wasn't picturing. I don't know. It was good.
But the title Draft Day didn't give it away?
Yeah, I just figured that was a backdrop to maybe some other issues in his life or something, but it was, or somehow the maybe the Iraqis tried to take over the draft or something. I don't know what I was imagining, but.
All right, though, if you are interested in fantasy football, tomorrow on the show, Jay Wrong's going to be on the entire show. We're going to go through some of the off-season stuff that has happened in the NFL and its fantasy relevance. We'll also kind of break down some of the skill guys that went early in the draft. So that's tomorrow. But today, Gray, let's get to baseball because, again, we're fantasy baseball guys. They don't want to hear fantasy football.
I saw, speaking of, when I was saying about the Iraqi thing, it reminded me of something. This is kind of it's a little off the beaten path, but it's kind of interesting. There was a special on, I think it was Dateline or 2020, or maybe it was, actually, no, it was HBO Real Sports with Brian Gumbel,
okay,
who seems like a real douchebag. But anyway, it was about how one of Saddam's kids owned a soccer team in Italy, and he was really bad at soccer. But because he was Saddam's kid, no one would ever, they wouldn't ever question his decisions to play himself. And it would also, in soccer, a lot of times people will go after the ball and they'll kick another player in the shins or something, but no one would ever go near him. So he just would run up and down the field.
So what, he owned the team and he also played for them?
Yeah, well, yeah, he was like the player, manager / owner. He did whatever he wanted, basically, because he was Saddam's kid.
That must have been in the 14th division of Italian soccer.
Yeah, exactly. It was really fascinating, though, because it reminded me kind of maybe a like a Barat type, like a Sacha Baron Cohen movie, because it was just so ridiculous, because this guy was a dictator's son, and no one would go near him on the field because they were afraid of hurting him. But he was terrible. But he kept playing himself like the center or whatever the main offensive position in soccer is. I don't even know.
All right,
anyway,
striker or forward. Okay.
Yeah.
So just before we get into the baseball today, Gray, I don't know if you had a chance to listen to it yet, but we did the first ever Razzball Hotsheet. And basically what that is everything you need to know about fantasy tied up into a neat little package. It was 3 minutes and 43 seconds today. And hey, what are you huffing on, man?
This is yellow stripe gum.
So basically that's going to be up every day.
With the vape, it's vape, not marijuana. But with the vape, they don't have the rights to anything because they're all like mom and pop places. So they all have these like names that have nothing to do with their actual flavor. Like this one, I think is called Yellow Choo Choo or something. It's like, what? Like the names are just completely absurd because they're all stoned, so they don't really come up with any clever names, and B, they can't use any actual names, so the names are really comical.
All right, so the hot sheet basically was 3 minutes and 43 seconds, and what it was some news off the top, and then some great stream values today, some Hittertron values, also some daily fantasy values, looking for values. So basically what we did is we combined all the Razzball tools, put it again into a real short segment. Again, it was 3 minutes and 43 minutes, and that will be up every day by noon Eastern. That's the plan, Monday to Friday. So if you don't have a lot of time, just want to kind of listen to something quick and adjust your rosters on your device or whatever, you can do that now. So it was kind of the test run today, so it was a little bit rocky, but it'll get better. And also, too, if you have any suggestions on the show or on about the hot sheet, go ahead and email me, nick@razzball.com, or tweet me @nickcapozzi. Great. Ready to talk a little fantasy baseball or what?
Yeah, let's go.
Yeah,
let's do it.
Why not? So, speaking of the Hittertron, this week it loves, how do you pronounce his first name? Yasmiel?
Yasmiel?
Yasmiel Pinto. Loves Yasmiel Pinto this week. Other than the great dip his mom makes, what's his upside?
I liked Yasmiel a lot when he was the starting catcher for the Twins, but then they picked up Suzuki, and it became a timeshare, so it's a lot harder to trust Yasmiel for playing time. He does have good power, though, not bad for average. He's got a good bat all around. I think the Twins were really they were hoping that he didn't get exposed, maybe being the everyday starter. Or I was going to say originally that they were probably hoping for a better catcher for their pitching staff, but considering their number one pitcher is Kevin Carrera. What is this? Kevin
Korea? I don't know.
Korea?
I don't know.
Is it Korea?
North Korea?
Korea. I'm bordering on racist. Raycess. I guess the Twins were concerned about how he would handle a pitching staff, assuming they ever got a pitching staff. I'm not exactly sure why they went out and got Suzuki, but they did back in, I want to say, late January, early February. And so Pinto became the backup, which is he gets some DH at bats when Mauer's off, or when Mauer's at first. But if Mauer's hurting a little bit and he gets DH at bats and Pinto moves to the bench, it's a bit of a fluid situation, and I wouldn't trust him to be my number one catcher in a one catcher league.
Exactly, and I'm with you on that. But with that said, again, the Hittertron, what I did was I went through on matchups for this week. So if you've got someone hurting, maybe Matt Wieters, it could be an option. I don't have it on the list, Gray, but thanks for vaping in my face, bro. I don't have it in my rundown here for you today, Gray. But Derek Norris is only 30% owned, and he has been hot. I mean, that was one of the main guys in the hot sheet this morning What are your thoughts on Derek Norris? He was a high draft pick, top prospect. Is he legit right now?
Well, he's not a 380 hitter, that's
No.
for sure. He is a decent. He does have a decent bat. I would say he's probably in the maybe 275 range. He's someone who has some power, not huge power. He's a hot bat really more than anything right now. I would go with him over Pinto if you were in a one catcher league though, just simply because his playing time is more assured.
Right. Fair enough. So Jose Bautista, Joey Bats, he's off to a hot start with the Blue Jays this year. Now this guy, if you followed the Blue Jays, unfortunately, like I have the last couple of years, he's had a lot of nagging injuries. He's getting older. Is it time to maybe move him off his hot start and try and get some value back because those inevitable injuries seem to be around the corner? Or are you just going to roll with Jose Bautista right now?
Well, the thing is with Bautista, you're doing risk-reward whether or not he's going to get injured. If he stays healthy, he could potentially give you 45 homers and be in the top 3 for power for the year. I don't think he necessarily will stay healthy, so the risk is a lot higher than the reward. There's probably a good chance that he misses at least, I want to say, 20 games, I would say at least. The downside is obviously he misses 2 months with some random injury that he seems to always get. But if he's on the field, he's definitely good for power. It depends on how badly you need those homers. If he's someone who you can get for cheap because his owner feels like it's too much of a risk that he's going to get injured at some point and he's selling high, then I would take the risk for the power for sure. But I wouldn't pay his value as if he was going to play, every single game.
Another great thing too about Jose Bautista, if you're in OBP leagues, I mean, he walks a ton for a power hitter.
Yeah, I'm getting killed right now in OBPs in my tout league. Yeah, it's pretty bad. I got Avisail Garcia. So I had Avisail Garcia, and I figured, well, he's going to be OBP issue, but he was injured within like a week of the season for the whole year, so he's off the team. So I was like, oh well, maybe that's not such a bad thing. But everyone else on the team has been just as miserable. I'm by far in last place for the OBPs. I've only recently moved into the middle of the league overall for standings, and that's after losing Cingrani, Alex Wood, Cobb. I basically have no pitching staff. Last week I played Delabar and Danny Farquhar in a pitching staff. They don't even. I mean, they're middle relievers, which I guess is fine for a daily league, but it's a weekly league, so you don't want middle relievers if they're not getting saves.
Yeah, absolutely. Actually, also, speaking of these leagues, in the RCL1 league, the Razzball Experts League, I've been taking your advice. I've been adding and dropping a ton more, of course, using the Razzball tools, so hopefully I can make up a little bit of ground there.
Yeah, I saw you were adding more middle relievers. That's the opposite case of a weekly league where you really do want middle relievers in there. I think I have like 6 or 7 relievers. That's including closers as well, but yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So Scott, the Prospect Whisperer, usually kind of handles all of our prospect questions, but I'm just wondering, is there anyone you're keeping an eye on this year who could come in and have an impact at some point this season?
I can't say that word.
What?
Whisperer. Whisperer.
I told you not to drink before you come on the show.
Whisperer. I sound like a stroke victim. Whisperer.
Guru came on last week on Friday.
Speaking of stroke victim, where did that come from? Oh, Guru came on. Yeah, so what did Guru have to say?
He was drinking while he was on the show. You can't do that, Guru. That's a penalty. That's a penalty.
Drinking coffee or?
Yeah, let's say it was coffee. Apple cider flavored coffee.
Coffee liqueur?
You know what? I kept getting tweets and texts. Everyone was like, I did not expect Guru to look like that. Everyone thought that Smokey should look like Guru.
Yeah, I didn't watch. I gotta be honest, I didn't watch the show, but Guru is. Did he have his turban on?
Yeah, he had the turban on, and I kind of felt like I was in some blue collar tattoo shop hanging out with Guru on Friday.
Nice. Was it like a Hare Krishna turban or like an Afghani turban?
It was unique. Of course,
draw the picture in my mind, and the other listeners / viewers of this show, if they didn't catch the Guru one, is it like a Mooney turban?
You know what?
Or like a Pakistani turban?
It's kind of actually, if your mom got up and didn't do her hair yet, kind of turban. I don't know what those are called, but it looked like something he picked up in the pharmacy department.
It's a towel turban.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. No, it was an interesting turban, but it was funny because it was it was an interesting scene.
Yeah.
But he's good. He knows his stuff, man, and we were jamming it and cramming it. All right,
nice.
So
yeah, I like his calm.
Yeah, no, he's good stuff. So again, Scott usually handles prospects, but is there anyone that you're kind of, other than obviously the big names, and we'll get to Gregory Polanco in a minute, but is there anyone else you might be keeping an eye on, or you're stashing even, someone on your watch list this year prospect-wise who could have an impact if they get called up?
Nah, I'm not really much of a prospect stasher because speaking of which, because I feel like in most leagues, if you're stashing someone, what's the best? Are they really better than, say, I don't know, say you're stashing a third baseman? Is he better than Casey McGahee? I mean, I don't know. It's like you're stashing you're not stashing Mike Trout or Bryce Harper right now. If you're not Polanco could be that good, but you said to ignore Polanco.
Yeah,
so other than Polanco, am I stashing like a random middle infielder or outfielder or pitcher? Nah, I'm not really. It's not worth it. It's not worth the time and bench space. Really, you're wasting bench space.
Okay, is there anyone though you're keeping an eye on? How about that?
Other than Polanco?
Yeah.
No, quite honestly, no. What I do with prospects, that's not to say I won't pick them up, because I definitely will. Like Rafael Montoro, who just got, is it like Mitsubishi Montoro, or is it Rafael Montoro? No, it's Rafael. No, he's getting called up to fill in for Henry Mejia.
Yeah.
These names, wow. Anyway, so
yeah, he had a great K rate in the minors.
What's that?
He had a great K rate in the minors.
He did. He had a good K rate. He didn't. I think he had a high 3 ERA, but it was all in the PCL. So you throw all those stats out the window. He's got good stuff. That's all that really matters. Anyway, so I would pick up a guy like that and put him on my team now that he's getting called up. And in 98% of the leagues, you can do that. So what's the point of stashing someone like him, 2 weeks ago? Where there's very little reward for something like that. I don't know.
Okay, fair enough.
I mean, if you're in a dynasty league, then you know these guys. You're stashing guys like Montoro for sure, but what's the chances that these guys, even a Montoro who has good stuff, what's the chances he's really going to be, say, 12-team mixed league worthwhile? Maybe 5%, 10% chance of that. So you pick him up if he's good. You hold on to him for as long as he's good. If he's not good, what's this? I got a text. Is it still called a radio show? Because it is on video. Oh God, Cougs, leave me alone with that. Definitely. I like grabbing prospects when they're about to get called up, like within a couple days, but I don't stash anyone for longer than maybe 4 or 5 days to a week. Like, here's an example, like Trevor Bauer. I like him a lot. Or John Singleton. I would definitely pick him up. You know, I would rush to every single one of my teams and pick up either of those guys immediately if they were to be called, if there was rumors that they were going to get called up within a day, 2 days, 3 days even, for sure. I'd grab them in every league. But now that it sounds like, Josh Tomlin is going to be in the rotation for the Indians, and Bauer isn't going to get the opportunity just yet, I'm not holding on to him. Whatever. I dropped him in all the leagues where I picked him up. And the same with Singleton. He's better than Chris Carter right now. The Astros aren't making the move to bring him up, so, lose them in most leagues. There's no point in holding on to them.
Okay, fair enough. We haven't talked much about Zack Greinke this year, and he's been dealing. If you were going to re-rank your starting pitchers this year, where does Greinke fit on that list?
Well, Greinke was definitely, that was a miss on my part. I didn't trust his velocity was falling, his K rate was falling, I think his FIP was way above where his ERA was last year. I was telling everyone to stay away from Greinke in the preseason, and I don't own him anywhere. Practice what you preach. I don't even know. Why did I just blow my finger? It does nothing. So, yeah, I would move Greinke up into a tier of guys that I want. I would say probably top 15 starter right now. His velocity still isn't back to where it was when he was really good, say 3-4 years ago. But he's changed up his pitch selection, so he's doing much better than he used to. And he's someone that I would own everywhere at this point. I would definitely say I missed on him. But on the other hand, I didn't want to have anything to do with David Price, and that's looking prescient right now. So
good choice of words. So is he a top 15 starting pitcher?
By the way, I have no idea what that word means.
So is Greinke a top 15 starting pitcher right now?
Yeah, Greinke is for sure, and Price has gone the other way.
All right. Speaking of practice what you preach, and I'm just going to bring him up again because he's like the only guy I hit on this year. It's been a rough year for me. But Charlie Blackmon is still raking .352, 9 homers, 29 RBIs, 34 runs, and 8 steals. I just need to bring that up. You don't have to comment if you don't want to.
No, I'm not commenting. It's boring to me. I don't own him either. I don't care. You see the shirt I got on today? Can you see it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Leonard's Bakery in Hawaii. I'm rocking all my Honey Lulu T-shirts for these shows. This bakery had these malasadas, which are like they're like donuts with custard in them. Oh my God, they're so good. They're covered in cinnamon sugar and Christ Almighty, or Hare Krishna Almighty, or whoever you want to Almighty too. I mean, Jesus effing Christ, they're so good.
All right, so in a league I'm in, someone traded Chris Davis and got Sonny Gray back. So Chris Davis for Sonny Gray straight up. Is that anywhere close to a fair deal in your opinion?
This trade has really bothered you, huh?
It does. It's irking me because I offered way more for Chris Davis.
This is possibly the third time you've mentioned this trade.
No, I haven't. No, I have not.
Trade. It's awful. The trade is bad. I think that person who got Sonny, I do like Sonny Gray too, but I would say probably, and this is a keeper you said, right? Yeah, I would say that person should get strongly worded emails from you about how awful that trade is. I've been known to cause major fights within my keeper league because of some trades that have gone down.
All right.
The funny thing is too, like, you're really like in a keeper league, so many times I'll get so pissed off at some of the trades that are made, and maybe 30% of the time, which is a large percentage, I would say, the trades usually end up being a lot fairer than I actually thought they would be. Like,
right.
Like Chris Davis, Like, watch Sonny Gray go on to, win a Cy Young next year, and Chris Davis he's on the 60-day DL injury again. Like, it's really hard to say in a keeper league right now what someone's going to do next year. Yeah, on the surface, though, that is a terrible trade.
Okay.
Like, here's one example of I've done really bad trades in my keeper league, like horrendously bad. Here's one that I was paying probably for about 4 years. I was suffering through this trade. I traded. This is NL only, by the way. So I traded Hanley and Stanton his rookie year for Brett Myers and a closer.
Oh my gosh.
It was so bad.
I think we talked about that trade last year.
I was in the running where I needed saves, and I was like, well, how good could Stanton be? And Hanley, I think Hanley was having an off year maybe that year. I don't know. It was really one of the worst trades of all time.
Yeah, that was pretty bad.
I have, my NL only keeper is kind of insane right now, though. I've gotten back Stanton. I have McCutchen, Carlos Gomez. Shoot, I forget.
Hey,
I have my team is pretty ridiculous.
What did you get back? What did you pay to get Stanton back?
Oh, you know what? I forget it so long. At this point, I don't even remember. Can you still see me right now?
Yes, I can.
Okay, because I guess I'm really bad with technology, obviously, because I'm asking you if you could see me, even though I'm opening up a window on my screen. I just want to, because now it's gonna bother me because. All right, this is 10-team NO only, so keep that in mind. I have Carlos Gomez, Jason Hayward, Giancarlo, McCutchen, and Tulowitzki.
Wow.
I would be happy with those in a 10-team mixed league.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's NL only. That's my keeper.
And what are the keeper standards on that? Is it dollar values or a certain amount of years?
It's dollar values where if you keep a player, the inflation is $5.
Okay.
So for instance, I had Giancarlo this year for 20, I believe. I traded away originally Giancarlo for $5, and then I got him back. I think about a year ago for 15, and then I kept him this year for 20 or something, something like that. And McCutchen is, I believe, $22, and I've had him for like 3 years, I think, too.
Wow, yeah, that's good value.
Yeah, it's insane. And Carlos Gomez was a keeper too. He was. I want to say like $18, something ridiculous.
Okay. So we talked about prospects earlier. C.J. Cron of the Angels and Tyler Moore from Washington both got called up. Do you like either one in a 12-team league?
Cron a little bit, yeah, for the right spot, like a corner infield spot where you need power and maybe, hope for a hot bat. Tyler Moore, I'm not interested in Tyler Moore. I don't know. He's got some power, but unless he's hitting, it's not worth your time outside of a NL only or maybe very deep mixed league.
Okay. Doug Fister and Mike Minor both recently activated. Which one of those would you take rest of the season if you had your choice, Fister or Minor? Or a Minor Fister?
Well, and now you've just gotten charges pressed on you. If there's anyone under the age of 18, you have to stand 500 feet away from your computer when you're watching this. Because, unfortunately, Nick can't move. I would take Minor barely. It's really hard. It's hard to say. I would take both of them. Minor hasn't looked good in his, his returning starts. So Fister looks better just because he hasn't started yet. So the unknown looks better than what Minor's been doing. But I think they're pretty much a coin flip at this point. I would say probably Minor just because of the K rate's a little better.
Okay. So back to Gregory Polanco, where the hell is he? I mean, on the surface, I guess because the Pirates look terrible, they probably don't want to start his clock. But is that it, or when are we going to see Gregory Polanco this year, if at all?
I just hypnotized our 4 girl readers, or their listeners, or their watchers. What are they now? Are they listeners, watchers, or readers?
Fans.
I just got another text. No, seriously, radio or video? Why does she keep texting me that? Yeah, no, I would think Polanco probably will be up in June just simply because of the Super 2 status thing. The Pirates aren't going to start his clock early for what? To possibly get the wild card? It's ridiculous. It's silly to even, for conjecture that they would start his clock early simply for what reason? They're going to lose him a year earlier simply to possibly win an extra 3 games this year? Like, what? It doesn't make any sense. It's illogical for anyone who thinks that Polanco would come up before then. Now, if the Pirates were to do it, then they're the idiots. I mean, it's not me being an idiot for thinking that it's illogical. They would be complete morons if they were to bring Polanco up before his clock rolls. I think he's someone that I would stash in just about every league. I wouldn't want to, though. I would prefer someone else was stashing him.
Okay, fair enough. So in Toronto, the Jays activated Casey Janssen. How long before we see Marcus Stroman in the rotation? Is there a chance that we get a Carlos Martinez Part 2 type situation with Stroman?
No. I think the next big injury to someone in the Blue Jays rotation, they're going to have a hard time not bumping him up to the rotation. There's really no reason why to leave him in the middle innings, other than maybe save his arm a couple innings. I would say probably the latest July he's in the rotation, and it could be a lot earlier if someone comes down with the sniffles or something, he could go into the rotation this week.
It's actually funny, Toronto, because their lineup is so good right now. I mean, they're producing a ton of runs, so and what they need is pitching, and they're still in it. They're only a couple games out of first place in what's become kind of a muddy NL East. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with Stroman. But I think too, if Stroman gets the opportunity, he could put up really interesting numbers this year. I think he could absolutely be mixed league viable.
For sure, I think the issue is, I think I mentioned this in the comments recently, and someone would probably think I was just being sarcastic, but, his ERA could go anywhere as a starter from about maybe 2.25 to 5.25. Right. I mean, he's a rookie pitcher, so you really have no clue what the hell you're going to get. I mean, he's a great flyer lottery ticket, but other than that, I mean, there's really no there's no way of saying, okay, well, he's definitely going to do mid-3 ERA with great Ks. He will have great Ks. That's about the only thing I would really trust, as he's showing even in middle relief. I mean, I don't know what his ERA is up to at this point, but it's got to be pretty high considering he's got rocked maybe, 2 or 3 times already?
Right. Okay. Last question here. Ricky Weeks is on fire. I know how you feel about Ricky Weeks, but are you rostering him anywhere?
No. For what? No, I'm not rostering him. No. I mean, he's got. If he's in a deep enough league, I guess if it's a daily league and you're able to move him in and out of the lineup, but he's not the everyday starter at this point. He's platooning. So yeah, I mean, I don't know.
He's platoony tune.
If it's a daily league and you could, like an ESPN league where you pick him up the day of and he's playing, like if you see he's in a lineup and you pick him up because it's a good matchup, then go for it. But I wouldn't roster him as in hold on to him. No.
Okay. Hey, so this weekend I had to pay one of my league fees, and it was a league with some other guys I'm in, and guess what? I got the invite from sportsfall.net to pay, and it was perfect. So again, if you've got to, if you're running a league and you want to not deal with collections anymore, have to send JFO, all 6 foot, 270 pounds of them, knocking on people's doors, just use sportsvault.net. It's a no-fee way to collect your league fees. Also, over at DraftKings, $100,000 perfect game today, so you don't want to miss that. And so we're going to start this week playing nightly games. We're going to do a 50-50 game. So basically, just a way to come on and play with us and beat the snot out of us. So we're going to start that this week. And if you go to if you go to DraftKings, you haven't signed up yet, enter the promo code Razzball, and first-time depositors will get their deposit matched. So if you put in $20, you'll get $20 back. As well, they'll give you the entry fee into the 50-50 game that we're going to start playing. So that is all happening. Check out, of course, the Hotsheet. And, of course, you better be reading Razzball.com every day.
I have a question for you.
Yeah, man.
With the League Vault thing, so
sportsvault.net.
Yeah, via sportsvault.net, right. So if you get an email from your friend saying like, "Hey, schmuckballs, you haven't paid yet," you ignore that, but you get an email from sportsvault.net, and you're like, "Oh, okay."
Because it's easy. It's easy.
No, because now I have to pay because sportsvault.net. Like when a third party steps in, you're like, "Wow, schmuckballs is serious about this getting paid shit."
Plus, what they do is they actually go and have everyone's name there who's paid. So you know it's a bit of shaming too. So.
Oh, I see. Huh. Oh, okay. Or is it just simply because you marked your friend his email as spam, so you don't even see his email? That goes straight to your junk mail, and then suddenly you get to sportsvault.net, and you're like, oh, I forgot about this because I marked him as spam like 5 years ago.
All right, Gray. So we will talk to you on Wednesday. Tune in tomorrow if you like fantasy football, because again, Jay Rong and I will recap everyone. And hey, what we're going to try this Friday, Gray, I haven't run this by you, but you got no choice. What we're going to do is we are going to take some listener questions and tweets. So we'll get the people to ask you what they want to ask you. How's about that?
Sounds good to me.
All right. So Gray is with us every Monday, Wednesday, Friday. We're mixing it up the rest of the week. So thanks for tuning in. Razzballers, again, check out the Hotsheet, man. That is useful. And thanks for vaping me, Gray. Get out of here.
You're welcome.
Later.